Well, welcome to Father and Son, except my son's out doing his Christmas shopping, so I've got a special guest today, Mike Feeney. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, John. G'day.
Mike Feeney worked with me at Elders for many years and been a very successful businessman. Now tell us, when did you start at Elders?
Well, I think it was St Valentine's Day 1987. I was due to start that day. I got a call from Andrew Cummins the night before saying, Mike, make sure when you turn up at the office tomorrow that you've got an overnight bag because you're going to pick up a ticket to go to London. So I
First day in.
First day in. So I went in, came at William, she gave me the ticket, took a car out to the airport, flew to London, checked into the hotel, and then went straight to the office only to be presented with another ticket to go to New York on the Concorde with the message that I was going to assist in the takeover of Carling O'Keefe in Toronto.
Well, Carling O'Keefe, we bought Courage in the UK, and then we bought Carling O'Keefe from Rothmans, did we?
From Rothmans, yes.
So that was a big buy because it meant we had a base in North America. So you did all the strategy work on that, did you?
Well, it was really Andrew that did the strategy work. He negotiated the purchase from Rothmans. I really went in to complete the takeover, do the paperwork. We had to buy out some note holders, I remember, who sat there until they got their price.
You can always get caught with those minority interests towards the end of the takeover. We had the same thing when we bought CUB. Singaporean, he wouldn't sell his shares, we had to up the offer. Very expensive process, but you've got to get 100% of those businesses so
yes,
you can get the tax benefit.
That's right.
So, well, that was a good, you got to work. Not many people go on a plane to London and jump on a plane to New York and fly on the Concorde.
No.
We had good ideas in those days. You've got to work as soon as you get there. So you then, Andrew went off to London. I took him back to London.
Yep.
And you became the strategy guy for Australasia, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And simultaneously with that, I think it was you who gave me the task of setting up Elders Investments in Hong Kong. So for a long while, for about 4 or 5 months, I was triangulating between Melbourne, Toronto, and Hong Kong.
So what was the biggest deal you did back in those days when you got established here in Australasia?
Well, easily the biggest would have been the reverse takeover of New Zealand Forest Products, NZFP.
They're good, those reverse takeovers. We learned how to do them. We got Elders to take over Henry Jones, and then we got NZFP, who were in a lot of trouble, to take over Elders Resources, which Jeff Lord was running.
Indeed. Jeff was running it. Jeff saw the opportunity. Of course, we're now talking about the collapse here of the stock market. So this was towards the end of '87, and New Zealand Forest Products was on its knees. It was part of I've forgotten what we called them in those days, but it was part of a family of companies of which RADA, R-A-D-A, was the centre, and they were all just collapsing.
They were all Goodman-related people. I think who was the guy who was chairman? I sent him a Christmas card.
Bob Gunn.
Bob Gunn.
Bob Gunn, that's right.
Still talk to him a lot.
Yep. So anyway, we negotiated that, whereby New Zealand Forest Products would acquire Elders Resources, and Jeff was the person who negotiated that with Bob Gunn and with George Wheeler, who was running RADA, and pretty much ruined my Christmas because I thought I would have Christmas at home. Got home on Christmas Eve after the shops had closed, wasn't able to buy my wife a Christmas present.
So she wouldn't talk to you for days?
Well, that was probably just as well, because on Boxing Day I got a call from Jeff saying, I need you to go back to New Zealand.
That's why I didn't have too many Christmas parties at Elders, because when I did have one, a big one, everyone was complaining they never meet the wives. I got there at the Christmas party, and nearly every wife got up and wanted to speak to me on the side and complained about the fact that their husbands were never home. I thought, I don't need this for Christmas. I remember Jeff and I had a lot of fun. I became chairman of NZFP, and he and I go for the monthly meetings in New Zealand, and we had some very interesting times, I think. So when Elders was, the brewery was separated from all the other businesses, what did you do then?
Well, we continued. Well, I transferred actually under Jeff's wing. I moved from Garden Street to Palmerston Crescent, which was by then the head office of what was then called Elders Resources, NZFP,
Yep.
and I became the Director of Strategy under Jeff there, working with John Cornelius and Paul Rayner, and essentially a great team of people.
Yep.
And we continue to expand that business through acquisition. You might remember that that we had a percentage of Northland.
We did.
And we had a percentage of, well, I've forgotten the other mining company. Anyway, the two mining companies merged, which gave us an effective 22% interest in the new company.
Yeah.
And
Jeff was always trying to convince me that we should take North over.
Ah, well, that's yes, that would be consistent.
Very consistent. Jeff loved buying things. He wasn't quite as good at running them, I didn't think.
And one of the things we bought through that, we then did a deal whereby we got North Pico, that was the other company.
Pico was it, yeah.
To buy back our shares, but not to give us the cash, but to sell us some assets. So we exchanged our shareholding for assets, which included one very good asset, which was
Red Dome. Was it?
No, I think we had Red Dome already, but maybe it gave us the rest of Red Dome, but we got Sims Metal out of that. But
you're still on the board of Sims Metal?
Yes, and 20 years later I'm still on the board. And now my last year, I have to say, horribly.
All right, we're getting close. Well, it's lovely to see you, Mike, and a bit of reminiscing there. Well, it's close to Christmas. You're going away at all? What are you up to?
Well, my son's family is in Melbourne, so we're having Christmas with them, and then we're up to Sydney for Boxing Day with my daughter's family.
Oh, that should be good.
How about you?
Oh, I've got 26 coming for lunch, adults and 6 children, so it's going to be a busy time. Then we'll enjoy the cricket, we'll enjoy plenty of good red wine, cold ham for the whole of January. So we'll be back earlier than New Year, but may I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a healthy and prosperous 2012. We all need that. I think Europe looks very, very difficult next year, but hopefully Australia will come through, and the quicker we get in a federal election, the better as far as I'm concerned. So have fun and have a very happy Yuletide experience. See you next year.
Thank you.